Hi guys, welcome back. I'm Valentina. This is my channel where we get wealthier and healthier every single day because yes, they can coexist. Today we are talking about your gut feeling. Have you ever gotten that feeling where it's not really a nervous feeling, it's not really anxiety, or you can't all the way tell if it's anxiety or not, but you get this sick feeling in your stomach. It's like your stomach drops almost, but it's just kind of sitting there. It comes up around certain people when certain situations happen, and it's an unsettled feeling. You just can't explain why you're feeling this, and then you just kind of brush it off because there is no explanation. Yes, I know, because same here. I used to get that feeling pretty frequently. Again, I didn't know what it was. I used to pray in my journal to God, and I remember asking God, why am I feeling like this, God? What is this feeling? Are you trying to tell me something? Turns out that it was my gut actually trying to protect me. I'm going to share two different stories with you when that happened. This is the thing, a lot of us have this instinct. It is your intuition. I just think a lot of us aren't in our bodies enough or aware of our bodies enough to feel it and to know and be able to distinct that difference from anxiety, excitement, nervousness, and your gut trying to tell you something. When I was with my ex-boyfriend, this was one of my first relationships, so I had no trust issues. I remember there were multiple times where, because we were long distance, I was going to college in San Luis Obispo, he was going to college in Northern California, we were 7 hours apart. On random nights, which now I know to look more into this if this happens, but at that time, I didn't know any better. Random nights his phone would shut off, or he'd go to bed early at 6 p.m. and couldn't text me till the next day, or he'd stop sharing his location. I didn't know what it was. I believed every excuse he told me, and I had that feeling in my stomach. Again, I don't know if that feeling was because I was worried for his safety. I didn't know what it was. The feeling became so regular in my stomach, to the point of where I was even asking him, hey, ex-boyfriend, why do I get this feeling in my stomach? I can't explain it and I don't know where it's coming from. I don't know why this is happening to me. And if I'm gonna be honest, cheating was the last thing on my mind. I just didn't think that he would do that to me, ever. Because I genuinely thought I was such a good person that why would anyone ever do that to a good person? Fast forward to Christmas break. We are having a wonderful time in his hometown with his parents, and we drive back to his college hometown. And then the next day I leave to go to my college hometown. I remember our last night together. I have no idea where it came from, but I remember talking to him and telling him, hey, I don't know what this feeling is, but it is getting so intense that I don't know if I can handle it anymore. And out of nowhere I said, I think I don't trust you, and so I'm gonna break up with you. I had no valid physical reason to go off of. I was just like, I'm gonna break up with you. And he got so upset, threw a tantrum, screamed at me. I had to call my sister to come pick me up, and we ended up texting that night. He said, I promise you, I'm gonna show you that you can trust me. I'm sorry that you've been feeling this way. We're gonna work through this. And I said, great. I was so happy that he was finally understanding this feeling that I'd been feeling, and that we needed to work on this. The next day I go back to school, and the only text I got was, hey, I hope you made it there safely. And then for 3 days, nothing, just silence. I was so confused because he had told me that he wanted me to realize that I could trust him, and I heard nothing. So I reached out to him and asked him why he hadn't reached out to fix things, and he said, well, you need to understand that you just broke my heart and I need time to heal. And I was like, you're right. Gosh, silly me. Why didn't I think about that? You're right. I don't know why that didn't cross my mind. I'm sorry. Take the time you need to heal. Reach out to me when you're ready. In our relationship, he, for some reason, didn't trust me. Now I know, projection. He didn't trust me, and he would yell at me if I was on social media. He'd yell at me if I posted a certain picture. He'd yell at me if I had male followers or followed males. So I said, I don't want to fight. I don't want to deal with any of these stressors. I'm just gonna delete all my social media. I deleted everything. Instagram, Facebook, you name it. And in this moment of being broken up, I said, I need a distraction, because I was also heartbroken, but I need a distraction other than homework. I re-downloaded my Instagram, and on there was a message request. It was from a girl telling me that she had no idea that this person was my boyfriend and that they had been sleeping together for 9 months. 9 months. And that is when I realized that sick feeling I had in my stomach was my gut trying to protect me that entire time. You guys, your bodies are so smart. Body knows before your brain knows. Anyway, that was an eye-opener for me. Am I still working through things in that realm of my life now in terms of romantic relationships? Yes. However, I now know that I can just trust my gut feeling, because it was, you guys, it was so intense that no matter the situation, the moment that feeling comes up, I instantly know it's my gut. Second story. When I was in college, I had the opportunity to graduate in the winter or in the summer. I could graduate early or at the normal time with everyone else. I wasn't sure what I wanted to do, because a part of me wanted to just get it over with, and then the other part of me wanted to be in the sun because I love the grass, I love being outside, and I could be with all my friends. Summer was a no-brainer. But then again, it was college and I was just ready to get the heck out of there, so I thought maybe just graduate in the winter. I didn't know. Before I had to give my decision of when I wanted to graduate, I had some church friends at the time who actually had already graduated and invited my roommate and I over for dinner. So when I went over there, I thought this is the best opportunity to ask them, what do you guys think? Since you've already graduated, what do you guys think? And they said, oh, well, we did the summer graduation and we loved it, blah, blah, blah. And I said, shoot, I still don't know what I should do. And they said, well, what do you think you should do? And I said, I think I should graduate in the winter, because I don't think the summer one is going to happen. And I remember there was 4 of us sitting there, and the 3 of them just started giggling. They started giggling a little bit and had a little confused face. And one of the people asked me, why would that happen? That has never happened before, where a graduation just didn't take place. And then I didn't have an answer for them. I said, I don't know. I just don't think it's going to happen outside, maybe. Maybe it's going to get rained out. And I remember thinking, you're right. It's impossible that graduation just wouldn't happen. So I then said, well, maybe it's going to rain out and it's going to happen inside anyway. But for some weird reason, I just know for a fact that it's not going to be happening outside. I decided to do the winter graduation, and lo and behold, I ended up being part of the last class to walk in person before COVID had hit, because I graduated December 2019, and then the next graduation would have been May or June of 2020. And it never happened. They did it online. And the crazy part was, I didn't even remember this conversation I had had until my roommate called me and was like, do you remember when we had dinner and you said something about this graduation not happening? And I was like, oh shit. I literally got chills because I was so scared of myself. And she even asked me if I was a witch, and I was like, no, I don't know where that came from, but yeah. So there was another one where it was like a gut instinct, not necessarily a feeling in my stomach, but intuition. You know, you have the answers, you guys. This is what I've learned from past experiences, and there's multiple different stories that I have that have happened to me to be able to justify gut, intuition, all of that. And one thing that I've learned is a lot of times your gut feeling or an intuitive thought comes to you before you even have a logical reason for it. Sometimes it can come in a physical feeling where your stomach just drops. Sometimes it's a sentence that just comes out of your mouth without having prior thought to it, and you even catch yourself off guard a little bit. Sometimes it's through a no that you just can't justify. And this may be one of the hardest things up until you've done it enough that you can really trust the process, but trust. You guys need to trust your bodies, trust the feelings that are coming up, trust the thoughts that you have. When you're journaling and you're just word vomiting, and all of a sudden there's this random sentence of an insight or an epiphany or an answer to a question that you've been having for a long time, trust that. I know it's hard to trust something when you don't have the why answer to it, but sometimes we just can't justify these feelings. And maybe the answer comes later, maybe the answer never comes at all. But we have to trust our bodies, we have to trust our intuition, and we have to trust our gut. Another thing is, not every gut feeling is going to be this dramatic or this intense. But I do think that all of us have this very quiet little internal system that is quick and picks up on things before our conscious mind actually does. And just like any muscle in the body, the more you guys practice noticing it and instead of just talking yourself out of it, the more clearly you're going to be able to hear it, and it'll become obvious with every decision, even little things of what do I want to eat today? What restaurant do I want to go to? Do I want to go to this event that my friend is holding? If you've sat with a feeling like that before but just waved it off, or if you're sitting with a feeling like that in this moment, you don't need to panic, but notice it. Acknowledge it. A hesitation, a pit in your stomach, just something doesn't feel right, something's off type of feeling. Write it down, sit down with it, meditate with it, bring that to your intention when you're meditating instead of immediately explaining this feeling away. I love stories where intuition was correct or your gut was correct, so if you have a really good story, I'd love to hear it in the comments. If you guys really love this video, I have more coming, so subscribe, come along with me on this journey. We are getting healthier, both mentally and physically, and wealthier in all realms of life together.